What's up? What's up?
What's up, people?
How are you? Welcome to another episode of Big Classic Talk podcast. Walter, my co-host over here,
You?
Mr. Sellers, and my other co-host, Rashad Scott, in the background. Editing us, making sure we look good.
That's kind of hard to do, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
'Cause I'm ugly.
I'm not going to say that about me. What? So, I do need a cut, though. Good Lord.
You're the only one. Woo.
Crazy
Bruh.
week.
You need some midnight cocoa beans.
Yeah,
Bro.
I need you to school me on that.
You saw Bad Boys, yeah? The last one?
I seen Bad Boys.
The last one. When
I
Will
did.
Smith got shot.
Yeah.
And he was putting the dye on his beard, the midnight cocoa bean, the dye on the beard.
I gotta. Definitely. See, it's funny because I get all this gray in here, and my daughter goes, "Dad, time for a haircut." She's like, "Oh, starting to look your age now." I was like, "Okay, that's cool." But yeah, man, we I don't know. How was your week?
Been busy. You know, I got a lot of other stuff outside of this. Got lodge stuff going on, man. We have a big conference coming up this weekend with my lodge, and just staying on top of this business, man. It's hard. You know, managing folks and getting to change their days. Everybody gets fixed on their certain days and times, and that people like to change.
People don't like change, man. They don't.
Yeah.
They get very. You know, I notice with me, it's when a client gets acclimated to you.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, look, I'm gonna write the program. This person's gonna take you. They're like,
Nope.
Don't want to hear that. Don't want to hear that. Some of them rather do the program on their own
Yep.
without anybody, right? But yeah, that's common in life, though, man. Everybody's kind of like the littlest things can upset everyone's day.
Bruh.
Everyone's day, you know. And it's a funny story. The other day, I never leave my phone. And Rashad actually brought it out to me. I left my phone, it was Saturday. And someone said sometimes when things happen that are unexpected, it's like angels looking out for you.
Sure.
Right? To change your course, your pattern. And the weirdest, most eerie thing happened. I'm driving down the road, and where I would have been if I didn't forget my phone, brand new accident.
Wow.
Right there. And I'm like, wow. Thank you. You're looking out for me on this one, you know what I mean? But, yeah, so you never know. I mean, sometimes, you know, that's not exactly what we're talking about, but I just thought that was an interesting example of, you know, some people will let that ruin their entire day.
Sure.
You know, something as simple as forgetting your keys, and you hear the common statement, God, why does shit always happen to me? It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, I always try and steer people away from that kind of thinking. Like, why does everything bad happen to me? Like, bad stuff happens to everybody.
Yep.
You haven't met a person yet that hasn't had something bad happen to them.
Facts.
Right? So it's 10% about what happens to you, 90% on how you react to it, right?
That's it.
So, add something.
I'm black in America. Shit's bad all the time.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, I mean, because this is meme again. I ain't gonna bring race into this whole thing, but it's just funny. There's a meme that says, "What's it like being black?" So it's kind of dangerous, but it's kind of lit at the same time.
Right.
So it's like, I mean, in general, if you look at everything in a negative light, no matter how bad it is, you're gonna stew. And people in general, it's like you need to let shit go. It's because, and then like we had the whole thing off, and you think I was holding anger towards somebody, where I explained to you I can just cut you off like that, because that's what my family does. But it's just like, you holding on to that, what is that accomplishing? What is wishing for somebody's
Just take the
downfall?
names out and keep it in there.
Yeah, was wishing for somebody's downfall, going to achieve. Even if they do they're like, oh, motherfucker died. Does that make you feel better?
Right.
Oh, he lost his house. Does that shit make you feel better? Like, what do you achieve from doing
From
so?
hate.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
now you're just stewing yourself. Now you're miserable. Now you can't move forward. So why are you doing it?
I think when you put that much negativity out, you're destined to gain that much negativity back.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, when I feel like someone's done me wrong, I try and let it go as soon as possible. I really do. Like, I've been done wrong many times. How can you not when you deal with so many people, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I look at the next person expecting them to do me wrong. It doesn't mean that I look at the next situation and go, something bad's gonna happen. Even when something bad happens, to me, my first thought is, God, what am I supposed to learn from this situation?
Mm-hmm.
That's always my first response, because bad stuff happens to everyone. So what am I supposed to learn from the situation? And easier said than done in some situations, but I always try and hold on to that, because if you look at things, the silver lining is you do learn something from every challenge, from every bad situation, from every failure. You learn from it, whether it's personal, a bad relationship, a business that didn't go well. What did I learn from the situation? Like, I had someone else text me today and just throw a snide remark out there regarding the gym. So I'm not even going to respond to it. I had a whole bunch I could have fired back. I'm not putting that energy out there. I'm going to keep it positive. Just not going to respond. Let it go. Because most of the time, if you take a couple hours or just change your line of thinking, it goes away anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Like, someone makes you upset and angry in the moment. That's where I always fail. Someone angers me in the moment, I react. And that's what I'm constantly working on. But someone does something and it's like I find it later, or it's on the phone or whatever. Generally, if I have 10 minutes to process, I'm good. It still bothers me, but I can handle it in a way that's not going to affect something negatively going forward. Right. So that's what I'm on. I mean, these things it's tough. It's tough. You never know. Like, you never know what's going to happen to you next. You know.
Yeah. Look, I'm a big believer, like you said. You know, it's how you respond to it. You know, it's at the end of the day, for me, it boils down to two things. One, are you a keeper of my soul? And two, are you paying me? If those two things aren't what's happening, yo, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll be every punk, every asshole, every loser I need to be. I'm good. You know,
Yeah.
Losing doesn't. You're not losing in life because you're still here.
Right.
You didn't give
Right.
up.
I
You
get a
didn't
chance to wake up
stop.
tomorrow.
Right.
Right.
And that, I think that's the beauty of life and the beauty of time is we can redo this shit minute by minute. You know, to bring in some clients. You know, it's never. Don't worry about making 10 pounds at the month. Worry about making today. Make this minute.
Yeah.
You can cheat, but not today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can not do your cardio, but not today. Save that for when you actually fall down the steps and your leg is broke.
Right.
So let's do it today. Let's not worry about all the extraneous shit that we can't control. If we are able to live in what we can control, we reset the board every day.
No, you're right.
You know, we don't have to worry about. Listen, if yesterday wasn't a good day, that's fine. That's okay. 1% better today.
Yeah.
1%. You know, I tell my clients, you're not gonna lose 10 pounds in a week. It ain't gonna happen.
Right.
1%. That's all I want you to lose. 1.5%. That's it.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
If you can do that, we're
doing
on
good.
track.
Yeah, 'cause
We on track.
map it out over 20 weeks.
Bingo, we're there.
Significant amount, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think it's funny how many people self-sabotage themselves
Yeah.
when it comes to trying to eat properly and trying to diet and trying to train hard, and people psych themselves out, man. Like, they'll feel bad and they're like, oh my God, I feel so terrible. I'm not going to be able to do this workout. And I'm like, you haven't even started yet.
Exactly.
You haven't even started. Like, if I'm telling myself it's going to be a terrible workout,
It's gonna be a
it's
terrible
going to be a
workout.
terrible workout. But if I tell myself, if I change the window I'm looking through,
Yep.
and I say, you know, God, thank you for giving me the ability to perform this workout. And again, these aren't easy things to do.
Nope.
But it's like, these are what's called like micro wins throughout your day. This is how you create credibility within yourself.
Yep.
This is how you become a badass to yourself. And once you do that to yourself, that's when the world will see you that way.
That's it.
Right? Like I had someone today tell me, you know, like you're intimidating. Now this man, and it's funny because this man is huge. He's a bouncer.
Right.
He Golden Glove boxer, and he said your gym intimidating because you're so confident in what you're doing that it's like if people don't live up to what you're doing, they feel like they fail. Right.
Right.
Now I don't mean for that to come off that way, but here's what I do know. If I go in any situation in a gym atmosphere, I feel so confident in what I'm doing and what I can create
Yep.
that I don't believe anybody can do it better than me.
Right.
But that's from years
Of doing it.
of validating it within myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with, if I say I'm going to do 32 ounces of water in the morning, I do 32 ounces of water. That's a win.
Yep.
If I say I'm going to do my supplements in the morning, for years competing in the OCB, I'd have a trash bag full of supplements every day.
Yep.
And I'd have it on a calendar, and I never missed. Never missed. I do cardio, I do my lifting, I never missed.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself are micro wins
Wins
every
every
day. You keep building up those wins, how can anybody tell you you're not good,
Exactly.
right?
You know, I get bad seasonal allergies, right?
Right.
Like really bad. Like this shit takes me out. So I changed my allergy drugs from Claritin to Allegra D,
Right.
right? Last week, just my training wasn't the usual walk, but I couldn't breathe.
Right. Right.
This was the text I sent on last week. Finally,
Yeah,
an
yeah.
amazing training session.
Right.
You know, and it wasn't for any reason other than I just kept going. I didn't stop training,
Right.
but you know, I knew that eventually a break was going to come.
Sure, sure.
And when it hits, it's like hit a PR. You know, a 18-month PR on bench press this past Saturday.
Yeah, that 405.
405, yeah.
what's up.
You know, it's one of those things that's like, if you keep digging, you just gotta keep digging.
Yeah.
You gotta keep going, and whatever it is, you know, whether it's school, work, working out, eating right, well, no matter what it is, you have to keep digging because just on the other side of mediocrity is greatness.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we really only one opportunity away
That's
from
it.
being great, right? But if you stop, you definitely ain't gonna be great.
Ever gonna happen?
And you know, it's funny, like the segue into this, like we're you know, this is about training and stuff, but it's also about lifestyle and getting better in all realms of your life. And I remember, like when my wife and I got divorced, my son looking at me and saying to me, "I wish you weren't my dad. All you do is teach me how to lie and cheat." Right? And I'm like, I remember looking at him and I said, it's cool. You know what unconditional love is? No matter what you say, no matter what you do, I'm gonna love you with everything in me.
Right.
And he held on to that. And tonight, he couldn't play his game. I go down there, he's like, "Dad, I can't play." I'm sitting there with him, and he's like, "You're the best dad ever." And he's like, he's like, I love that you're my dad. And I said, "Man, that's a long way away from where we started."
Right.
You know, a few years ago. But he's like, "Well, I had good reason." I'm like, "You did. That's the way you felt at the moment."
Right.
But now our relationship is so tight because you're putting in the work on a daily basis to show him, to prove to him that he can trust it.
Right.
The relationship, right? And it's no different than what we kind of do with our clients, right?
Sure.
Like, they come in with this, "Yeah, you say I can do this, but I don't know if I can really do this." And once you create that plan for them and they achieve it, all of a sudden they're like,
The game
they
changes.
tell everybody, "Walter is absolutely amazing. He can make you walk on water if you ask him to." You know what I mean? I feel like some of my clients think that because some of the things they be telling me, I'm like,
Yeah.
"How do you expect me to fix this in 6 weeks?
That's it.
You're competing in 6 weeks." "Well, I know you got me."
No,
No, I'm not
No,
God.
I'm good. I'm not God.
I'm not gonna fix this.
Add an O. Add an O.
I'm not gonna fix this. Just follow the damn menu, right? Like, but it's crazy. Like people I hear fathers all the time, man, like saying stuff like, you know, "She don't want to see me right now. He don't want to see me right now." And I'm thinking to myself, your kid don't know what they want.
That's it.
As adults, we don't always know what we want.
As adults, we don't know what we want.
Yeah, we always trying to figure it out, right? So
That's it.
it's like, like Rashad, you being a stepkid and all that kind of stuff. Like, do you really know what you were saying when you were 12 years old?
Truthfully, no, but yes at the same time. And what I mean by that is, I feel like my upbringing was very black and white, which you could tell by my personality most of the times, where it's just like it either was or it wasn't. But I feel like when I got older though, and like hormones and all that stuff got into, I really was like lost in my thoughts. Like real shit, I don't think I've ever told anybody this. Well, I know I have never told you this. It's stupid now. It wasn't stupid then. I thought, I took care of my grandmother and everything when I was 16 and couldn't play sports, couldn't do nothing. My first moved to Delaware, my dumb ass didn't know, try football, you gotta do that shit over the summer. Sucks to suck. So I couldn't do that. 10th grade year, my grandmother moved in, couldn't do anything instead of staying after school, I had to come home and take care of her. And I went to play lacrosse, and the following year, couldn't do that. And I'm just sitting in my room like, fuck, I can't do shit, my life is over. And I thought about suicide, but why did I think about that at 16 where the only thing I couldn't do was play sports? Like, I legit just sitting in there, and I'm like, I'm just ending it all right now, and I'm like, man, this is stupid. I'm crying and shit. I'm trying not to let my mom see me cry, but of course, parents know everything, so she sees my shoulders up to my neck and shit. We sat and talked about it, and it was fine, but it's like I shouldn't have felt that way. But again, I didn't know why I felt that way. I didn't know why I'm thinking this. I didn't know what. So it's just like, and then you said, my mom being pretty much black and white, come and talk to me and talking me through my stuff. I could have done that by myself at 16. So, like you said, you don't know we don't know what you don't know, what you need unless somebody, and for most things. And it's just like, especially at that age, and it's just like, and that's scares me about having kids too, if I ever have kids, because I've done some dumb shit.
We all have.
We all have.
And again, I know you can't stop it, but at the same time, if I do consider having kids, thinking about, damn, if my son or daughter feel like they can't live through a day anymore, are they going to have the ability to feel like they can talk to me just like my mom did for me? Am I going to be a good enough parent for this? Obviously, all parents, especially I know you went through 4 times over thinking, oh, my kid's this, my kid's that, and so on. But it's like, you don't know until the situation arrives.
Yeah, and I just keep adding kids to the mix. They ain't really biological. I just keep adding them on. I just keep doing it. Yeah.
I saw your girl that you had that training the other day. What's the...
Dale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said she was going to come live with y'all. I said,
Yeah.
you sure about that?
Yeah, another trainer said to her, be careful of the drama. And I'm thinking to myself, this is exactly why people are so caught up in BS.
Yeah.
Someone tells you that someone was nice enough to open up their home to you. She has a great relationship with my girlfriend, and his response is, be careful of the drama.
That's crazy.
You would never open up your home to her. You would never afford her an opportunity to get in a better situation for a prep. Like, what is the motive? I mean, certainly anyone that knows me knows that I'm not going to, it's clearly to help her.
Yep.
Right? So,
I think you let me come see what you thought of the prep.
I mean, honestly, like I would let
2 weeks
if,
out, 3
if
weeks
I
out.
felt someone needed the help,
Yeah.
and I had the space. It's hard for me to say no, and the reason why it goes back to when I had my bad times of it and I owned the gym.
Right.
If I didn't have numerous people step in and help me,
That's it.
I would have been up Schitt's Creek a lot of times.
Yeah.
And the thing is, pay it forward.
Yep.
The Lord has blessed me extremely well. In terms of, I wasn't a tier 1 bodybuilder, but I was definitely a tier 2 and left my mark through what I do best, which is my posing and entertaining. And, I got my pro win and everything I wanted. So, like, the Lord blessed me with the opportunities and gave me the will to push through things so I could use my gifts, right, in a positive manner. And now he blesses me every day with the ability to help thousands of people.
Yeah,
So why wouldn't you pay it forward?
that's it.
Right? Like, so when people say, "Oh, you're crazy," why am I crazy?
Nope.
Like, I believe in I believe that, you know what? Like, this is the one thing I'm really good at,
Yep.
helping people, and I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So when she's in the kitchen, bebopping around, yeah, it might be a little inconvenient at times because I don't have my house to myself. But at the same time, there's a joy felt because I know I'm helping this young lady.
Yep.
And let's say we get this pro card. It's another opportunity for me to win,
Yep.
right? Like, because my athletes win, I win.
That's it.
I mean, there's like no greater feeling than seeing someone who put all their trust in you, see it through, and win.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. I need your ass to win, the big one. But you know, but you know what I'm saying? Like these are things, you know, like when he sends me his updates, people don't believe this. He sends me his updates. I'm laying in bed. I'm like, yes.
I sent you updates.
You know?
You didn't reply to mine.
You sent him to him?
I did.
I didn't see him yet.
It makes you feel better. I just got my diet today.
I say yeah.
He might have been excited, which I do believe, because he did send me yes. I was like, yeah. Can I get an update? You know I'm fucking with it, but.
No, you know, I found, you know, just generally speaking, when it comes to attempting something, attempting any great undertaking, you know, it's your consistency. Yeah, and when my clients or friends or business partners, whatever, get despondent about the situation, it's the constant work. It's the water in the rock, right? I can throw water in the pond, throw a rock in the pond rather, and it's gonna splash. And after a while, settles down. But if I put a rock on the ground and just drip one drip of water on that rock every single day, eventually that rock is gonna yield to the consistency of the water. And that's what we're trying to build. It's consistency. You know, forest fires and growing fast is great. I want to grow steady.
Right.
You know, I want to grow so that when I'm big enough, the annoyance that I'm going to cause to LA Fitness is to the edges. When they say, "Walter, it's $25 million, leave us alone." Bet, give me that check.
I think with me, like, I was talking about this morning. It's like we have this supplement company, Big Sports.
Mm-hmm.
We have Above and Beyond Physiques. You know, I have Big E Athletics, and all that's great. But that passion I had when I was competing, to where it was unwavering dedication that nothing could ever make me waver from the plan. I haven't found that yet, right? Like I talked to a guy this morning who owns the Walker Group, and he helped me get my first supplement deal years ago. And he's talking to me, "Fred, it's time. We need to do this public speaking." And I'm like, all right. I love being on stage. I'm like, I can rock this out. We've talked about that. And I'm like, but like that one thing to make me go, lightning, laser focus, that's what I'm going towards. And I think, you know, the list comes out tomorrow for the Masters Olympia.
Yep.
And,
I'm excited.
You know,
See your name on there.
Yeah,
It's only two names that are going to be on there that are going to be competitive, in my opinion.
yeah, well, God willing, hopefully I'm on there.
It's going to be you and Hide. The only other person.
Kamal's going to be on it.
Oh,
Probably.
he's
I think
Kamal.
Kamal will be on it.
Oh, the other guy too. He's like 43 or 44. Phil Klahar.
So,
Phil Klahar, I think is his
okay.
name.
Okay.
He's like he won a pro show last year.
Okay.
A year before he was in Olympia. He played the year before last he was in Olympia.
Yeah.
But he has no legs. He's tall. He's tall. He has no legs. But he's a good bodybuilder, obviously.
Right. Obviously, yeah. I mean, you know, my people don't. I mean, I've beat a ton of people. It's really about if my mindset's right, and I show up the way I'm supposed to show up, then
Tough to beat.
I'm hard to beat. And that's really all it's about. So I don't worry about who's doing any show I'm in. It's
Right.
really about I worry about am I gonna be good to myself?
Right.
right? And that comes back with all the little wins every day.
Right.
Do I get my cardio in every day? Do I pose every day? Do I make sure I get on time, do all my subs every day? Do I make sure that every training session is added to the
100%.
best of my ability? When I do my cardio, am I sitting there unfocused reading a book, or am I focused on deliberately dialed in? Right, yeah. So, am I every measurement perfect when I do my food? That's the stuff that will allow me to walk in there head high and go, it's my show to lose. But if I don't do those things,
Right.
that's the only time doubt creeps in, right? Because I leave the door open for somebody else to jump in.
That's it.
And but if I do everything that I'm supposed to, I know I'm gonna look great. And we all know at the end of the day, that's what matters,
Yep.
right? Like the winning matters, because when you look back, you want to see what you won.
Right.
But in the moment, if you look great, everybody who saw that show is going to recognize that,
That's right.
and then that builds the momentum we're looking for the
Next.
endeavors we're trying to do, right? So but yeah, I don't know where I was going with all that, but
Well, here's something you said interesting.
oh,
You
the
said,
laser focus thing. That's
Right,
what I was
that's what I
saying.
wanted to
Yeah,
go to,
yeah. Like so, that's what that's that transition, and what's the next step to be laser focused on, so that I know I can create a world
sure.
impact.
Well, here's
you know?
the thing. The Chinese have a saying: if you chase two rabbits, you catch none.
Right.
Right? And if you don't have your plan, whatever your plan is, written down, executed every single day, you execute it every single day, then you're chasing two rabbits.
Yeah.
Right? If for me, for instance, I'm adjusting my schedule so that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are the days that I see clients in the DMV, and I'm top to bottom. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 8 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
I'm training somebody.
Right.
But on Mondays and Fridays, I'm transitioning so that those days I can spend on business development and growing the supplement business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And in an effort to do that, it requires me to be dead on discipline with how I train, when I train, make sure I get all my meals in. I have my meals packed every the other day, on Saturday, I literally turned around to come back home to get my backpack because they didn't get my meals, didn't have my meals with me, And the other time it'd have been, you know what, let me just stop. I can stop at Chipotle or Chick-fil-A, get the grilled chicken and eyeball it and be good.
Right.
But that's not good enough.
Yeah.
I can't tell other people and expect other people to do that. I'm not willing to do it. Walter Wiley, I had to turn around and get my food.
Yeah.
Seriously, dude? Yes.
Yes,
Seriously.
absolutely. I expect you to do the same thing.
And that's what separates you. That's what's gonna make you different from everybody else. I've trained with you, and I've watched you train. And the focus that it requires. I mean, we lift heavy weights.
Mm-hmm.
If your form is wrong lifting heavy weights, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You get hurt.
Yeah.
Even my brain sometimes tell me, Walter, that might be too much. No. Put it on the plate on.
So, that being said,
Yep.
aren't there certain situations when you should know to quit? Like, we know, as winners, we always say, always finish what you start.
It's a hard one.
Right. So,
It's a hard one. For a lot of reasons.
So when something, I'm gonna ask Rashad this. When something stops serving you in a positive manner,
In general, or talking about business.
well, whether you're talking about, let's just take for instance, you're trying to build a business, and I know what's a vice that you might have.
Video games.
Okay. Video gaming. Now, some people make a great living doing video gaming, so
I
it's
will
not.
not be one of those people.
Okay, so if you're not one of those people, is it self-serving to sit there and play a video game for hours on end? Because like me, I love playing video games.
Really?
I don't play them though because I don't have no control of. I get addicted very
I'm
quickly.
a gambler.
So I can't play and just say, "Oh, I'm gonna play," be done. I play and like, "Oh, if I do this,
It's tomorrow.
if I do that," next thing you know,
It's tomorrow.
damn.
I feel like the difference for me and my vices is my vices have been there since I was a kid.
Same
So, would you say so? As much as me though?
video games.
Really? What the video game is? Wow.
I'll go to tournaments and everything.
Wow.
I went to Florida and placed 97th out of 300. So,
I've never been to a tournament,
All right.
but we had the tournament in the dorm room in college.
okay.
I didn't play college. I never was in video games.
So that's my thing, and also I'm an only child, so I like being alone too. So
Got it.
Those go together pretty
Sure.
well. But I feel like truthfully, based off our conversations, I feel like I was way into it more than you. So I feel like it's more of a vice in the sense of him is the addictive nature of it. For me, that's my pastime as a whole.
Okay.
But anyway, so since it was so prevalent, and I've been in those stages where I've lost hours. I remember one time, because my main thing that I was like amateur pro at was Halo 3.
Okay.
And I remember one time we got on at 9 o'clock at night, and we got off at 5 in the morning, just straight. So I obviously get up, pee, grab some food, whatever. But I got that done like in high school, early college. But again, I got it out of my system to know I can do it. And now, especially now, because my clothing line, me training here, me doing other business ventures in general, I haven't played a video game in like a week. And that kills me inside.
Wow.
Just because I'm in a new relationship, I'm selling my house, I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff. And as much as I want to, as this podcast is over, to go home and play tonight, we're probably not getting out of here until like 10:30. I gotta be back in this bitch at 6.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how much sleep am I on the sack? And again, it's not right now. It's not worth it.
Well, you know what's like that for me right now? Fucking Lakers.
Yeah.
And again,
They're playing tonight. I'm
Playing
like,
tonight.
I'm like, oh,
So that's where-
do I need to sleep?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna watch that.
So that's the thing. That's why I don't feel like video games as much as advice. Because you, every day off of some type of sports center or shit, bodybuilding, whatever, because bodybuilding is still a sport. Any sports related shit is on 24/7. Where me, if you listen
Speaking
to
of which.
any of my YouTube stuff,
Yeah.
video games, anime, new tech stuff, like nerdy stuff,
Yeah.
that's my vice. So the balance of it is just like, it's like kills me inside a little bit just because like that's what I've been doing all my life. But in reality, I know I can't play as much as I want to. But sometimes I find a way, how can I increment my vice also into the productivity of my mowing? So you had me at 80 minutes of cardio. I caught up on this show that's over 1,000 episodes. Not all of it, but still, again, you saw changes in my body. So of course, I'm productive enough to do my cardio, but I'm not lazy enough to just be so droned in on the show.
Right.
But it's just a distraction of, I don't want to do this fucking cardio, but I'm gonna get it done.
Right.
So I feel like depending on what your vice, if your vice is heroin, I can't help you on that.
Right.
You need to stop.
You should stop.
That's not self-serving at all.
But if you can find some way to turn your vice in your favor, but also not let it take over, it's possible. But
Like-
again, depends what it is.
You know what I find fascinating? I'm like, my girlfriend will read so many books. And I'm like, that's amazing. And they're all fiction. And I'm like, it's a waste of time. But to hear her explain, it's like, it allows her mind to reset. And I use sports the same way because, you know, like people go, who's competing for you? I'm like, I got somebody competing almost every weekend. Like, it never stops. And it can get overwhelming at times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as much as you love it, well, problem it can get overwhelming. And like sometimes I look at my phone and I'm like, okay, just not gonna look at it right now because it can.
Yeah.
Because it dropped you like, oh, okay, I cleared out everything. And you wake up the next day, you got 78 text messages. You're like, oh my god. Okay, all right, let's just start plugging away. And it's a blessing
Yeah.
for sure, because I mean that's how we make our living, right? So
Yeah.
it's a blessing. But you know, this phone,
Bro,
this phone.
will suck you in quick.
Oh man! Every time I go to look at my OneNote, and ADD hits in because I just get caught up in the text messages. Like, get out of here! I don't mean to be in this right now.
Like the other day, I asked you, I said, hey, can you do my diary real quick? Like this was 2 weeks ago. And he's like, yeah, I got you. You went legit to go look at my pictures on your phone, and then you saw a text message, and it's like, hey, I just sent you something for Instagram. Then you go to Instagram to look at that, and then you got caught up because you start scrolling on Instagram. It's like, oh, this is Arnold. And then he's like, fuck, why did I get on my
The worst and best thing ever, man. God. The worst
You
and
got
best thing
you
ever.
got dead your screen time, bro.
My screen time is actually not as bad as it used to be.
Mine is miscued because I'll listen to I'll listen to some type of podcast almost, or some type of informational thing almost
Right.
all the time. So like, I was sitting there listening to gut biomes and things like that because people use the word gut biome and in the wrong way.
Sure.
Right? So I was just trying to get myself more well versed
Of course.
to be able to explain it. And what you realize is that these bacteria that are in your gut are what help us absorb different nutrients so that our body can do what it's. Well, gut biome would say, don't stress, because if I stress, my nutrients aren't going to absorb
Increase your
well,
cortisol.
and then my head is going to hurt because your gut biome talks to your brain, and things will not flow properly and assimilate properly in your body. And people say, well, what's wrong with artificial sweeteners? It used to be thought that they create false insulin responses. They kind of threw that out the window. I think the biggest issue is if you're not feeding your gut biome the right things, then the bacteria that's going to break down and process the good nutrients, the tryptophan, the things of that are going to help us, serotonin,
Right.
dopamine, all these things that are produced to make us feel better, keep us motivated, give us that urge to, those bacteria begin to desensitize, right? And no longer assimilate or break down things as efficiently. And then that's when we end up with issues where you just don't get as much from the good food, and it takes a while. That's why you get somebody, and sometimes you go, I'm changing their calories, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, they're doing their cardio, and it's taking forever. But then if they're patient enough, once their body does kick in, it goes. It goes, and I think the gut biome is a big part of that, being able to break down and utilize the nutrients the way they're supposed to be used. I think that's a huge part of that that's not being studied.
So, it's not being studied if that's the answer, but I think that there are other factors, right? I think there are other factors too, right? Menopausal women are going to respond differently to different foods because their hormones are just different, right? And
well, that deals with that though, because your gut biome is a
right,
hormone.
exactly, right. So it that can lead to a whole lot of things. That's the whole scientific conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want people to fall asleep on a podcast because they'll fall asleep quick.
Well, and the reason why I bring it up is I had a number of competitors talk about, I think my gut biome is messed up because of artificial sweetener. No, it's not. Your intestines are inflamed because you're putting too much of that junk in your system, right?
There you
so
go.
you're inflamed. That's totally different.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to explain to someone. And I think what ends up happening is you take all these artificial sweeteners and Walden Farms, for instance.
Yep.
Nobody knows how that stuff's breaking down your body, and it definitely bloats the hell out of you, right? Because it does cause you to inflame, and of course you're going to feel more lethargic and more and not feel well because your body's trying to break down chemicals,
Yep.
right? So you're adding toxins to your body.
Makes it harder to do it.
We take antioxidants to prevent that.
That's it.
Right? So I just think people twist that. Oh, my gut biome's no, that's not what's happening. You're inflaming your intestines because you're putting way too much of the fake stuff in your system.
Yep.
Right. But yeah, so I just thought that'd be worth mentioning. I've had quite a few people this week mention that that's what they're feeling, and I'm like, that's not really it, Like if you're eating fast food all the time and junk and honey buns and stuff and not eating the right food, then you're messing up your gut biome. tremendously because you're not feeding the right bacteria so they can
Right.
work, right? And it's just like a person that takes all lactose and all gluten out of their diet. Of course, you're going to be sensitive to it because your body doesn't have to produce those enzymes to break it down anymore.
That's it.
So, but what up? What else is going on?
It's Don Lemon got fired today.
Yeah,
Yo,
Tucker
my
Carlson got
mom-
fired today.
Yeah, what's going on? My mom told me she wanted to tell me about that. What's going on?
So they think it's stemming. So they interviewed Vivek. Forgive me, he's a GOP candidate for president for this year, and Vivek started misrepresenting what the Civil War was fought over. And he said, it was fought over black people getting their rights. And
Nah.
so Don Lemon said, I'm not going to get into this right now. I think we got to go to commercial break anyway. And then the co-host, Pop Cola, says, no, producer said we got time. He says, I think you're being disingenuous. You're disrespecting black people. He says, why do you think that? Because I'm a black man. And until you walk around in my black skin, you can't understand. Well, I don't feel like you can say that. You're disservicing America. And as soon as he said that, that kind of sent Don Lemon all the way over the edge.
Right.
And so he got fired. And Tucker Carlson got fired because he cost Fox News $787 million.
yeah.
Dollars.
Isn't that a lawsuit or something?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
so last week, so Dominion Voting Systems filed a $1.6 billion lawsuit against Fox News for publicizing the fact that Dominion Voting System was changing votes from Trump to Biden, which we know is bullshit, didn't happen. So the day of the trial, which was right here in Delaware, right, Wilmington, the day of the trial, Fox News settled for $787 million.
Wow.
When you push a lie, that
Yeah.
shit's gonna come due.
Yeah, for sure.
And they still got other lawsuits coming.
Wow.
So the other lawsuit is coming from, I forget the name of the company, begins with an S, Shore Vote or something vote, whatever it is. And they're suing them for $2.6 billion. And they have to settle that too, right? Because all the evidence that became in the public space from the Dominion trial, that coupled with the other investigations and stuff that this other company have together, they haven't dead to rights. I mean, and Tucker Carlson was one of the biggest promulgators of the lie, even though behind the scenes he was like, "This is dumb. There's no way the election was stolen." Blah 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 blah. Behind the scenes in his private text messages and stuff, but on air
He was co-signing.
he was co-signing and
He's
pumping it.
He was being a yes man.
He was pumping it. So
Yes man.
yeah. So and he caught the vapors.
Dang.
He caught them, and they will not. I don't think they're gonna pay a separate. So normally it's a golden parachute. I don't think he'll get a golden parachute on this one, bro. He's gonna take that L. What take that L? He's gonna take that L.
That's terrible.
Damn.
It ain't.
Better start a podcast.
Well, that's what Cuomo did, right?
Who?
Cuomo did it. Freaking Bill O'Reilly did it. All of it. They all started the podcast. So,
Yeah. You see, Nick Trigilli got his taken down.
Yeah, but I want to talk about. Yeah, I wonder why. I don't know who did it. I don't know what the rumor is because nobody has been able
I
to
don't know what the
substantiate it.
rumor is either. I mean, honestly, I think no one really knows. I think who did he make mad?
That's what I want to
He
know.
had to piss somebody off that had some pull.
Somebody did
Because
something.
I mean, he's not doing anything. I mean, he's an asshole, but he's not doing anything crazy outlandish.
Nope.
To get his TV.
He ain't lying to nobody. When he gets information, whether it's vetted or not, I think that's his issue.
Right.
But he puts it out there right away. He says, "This is what I found. I approached him here, and he posts these are the DMs I sent to John Doe bodybuilder, and they never responded. Well, here it is.
Now, hearing that story made me go, I wonder if I should invest in Rumble. And then I looked up, and they're 52-week high and all. That's not that impressive, but I'm
Fox News might be the buy because they're cheap right now. Their market share sucked $502 million a day, $500 million when they fired Tucker Carlson.
that's what I was thinking. I was like,
Their B stock has got to be good, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's probably a good time to buy.
But
Not
here's the
yet.
problem.
A little bit longer.
I can't support it. I can't support Fox News, bro. I can't do it. Just
Yeah.
from principle.
I mean, but can you really support any news channel?
Um,
Because I always say to this, right? Like people that say left, right, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's valid points. There's some valid validity on both sides, right? Like the social aspect of the left side looks appealing, and the economic thoughts and theories on the right side seem appealing, right? So, but do any of them really care about us?
So
Not
that's
really.
and for me, I think that both policies on one side sucks, right? I think that
For on the right side?
yeah, I think both policies.
Even being an entrepreneur now?
Absolutely,
Really?
absolutely. W.E.B. Du Bois is probably the greatest thinker of the night of Black history. He had a strong belief in something called the talented tenth. The responsibility of the talented tenth to take care of 90%. Right? And unfortunately, on the right side on the Republican side of the conservative side of things, it's about what I can get from me, and that's it. And I'm not that guy. You're not that guy either.
I don't see it that way though. I see it as
Sure it is. Tax breaks for the top 1%.
I see it as when the top entrepreneurs and 1% are doing well, there's more opportunity for a
sure.
smaller guy.
Unfortunately, that's not the case. The data doesn't show that. The data shows that as the richer get richer. Period.
Sure. I mean, that's definitely, look, you got a threshold that you need to make above to even qualify to talk about that. I mean, to be in
that part, right?
Right, and tax wise.
Yep.
And then you got, when you make in between, you're fucked.
Yep.
Because you didn't make quite enough, so you're getting taxed out the wazoo, but I
Yep.
don't have the money to buy quite the assets I need to buy to
Sure.
right? So, or hide or put my stuff in a trust so that, hey, I don't really own anything,
Yep.
right? But I still believe when business owners are happy and feel secure, they're more likely to hire more people. And when people that have money feel good about their money, they buy more, especially in the business we do.
I don't know, man.
I mean, you can. This is a debate. You can tell me I'm wrong.
I think that we have a greater responsibility to each other than is given, right? You know, part of the power of the movements for economic justice in America have to do with everyone being helped, have to do with everyone having an opportunity. And unfortunately, everyone doesn't have an opportunity.
I agree.
And if we're going to create a place where certain people, because of their income, can get away with paying effective less tax rates than their secretary when they're worth $45 billion, that's a problem for me.
Well, I think if you really want to do it, and the Democrats ain't offering this either, I think if you want to do it right, everybody pay flat 10% and that's it.
So
Everybody pay 10%, everybody pay the same.
So here's the hard part. Here's the hard part with that. 10% of $100,000 is what?
$10,000.
Okay? And 10% of $25,000 is what?
$2,500.
Who's impacted more?
The guy paying $2,500
And why is he impacted more?
because he can barely make ends meet as it is.
Bingo.
But everybody's it's still fair.
Is it?
Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
So I'm the poorest nigga in the room right now, so I'm gonna speak from.
Probably not.
Ah,
It doesn't
yeah.
matter how much you make, it's how much you keep.
Okay, regardless.
And I ain't keeping shit.
I've had this conversation
Sure.
multiple times in regards to what's right, what's not right, and had to, of course, talk about it in college or whatever. And I've been on both ends of it. Like, I don't know about you, but you ain't never worked for nobody, so you can't really speak on that shit.
Mhm.
So I worked. So I started my first job 2010 or 09, whatever, and started a quarter above minimum wage, at
Sure.
$7.75, and I worked up to I think it was like $22 an hour,
Right.
or something like that. And that's over the course of 5 years, 6
Right.
years, maybe something like that.
Right.
And people would say, "Oh, we need to raise the minimum wage, this, that, and the third." At that time, 2010, 2015,
Sure.
I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Because people are like $15 an hour for Delaware. Can't speak for any other state. I'm talking about Delaware
Sure.
specifically. I was like, does it need to be raised? Sure. but minimum wage is what it says in the name. It's minimum wage for somebody, right? So at the time, I felt like a cell phone was more of a necessity, especially now, as opposed to 20 years ago, in regards to getting jobs, communication, whatever.
Right.
So I was like, raise it to $9, $10, whatever. You get a roof over your head, food, minimal utilities, and a phone. That's good enough to get you started. It's like, well, I can't support my family off that. You're not supposed to. It's supposed to get you moving. You get skills from that, move forward, whatever.
Sure.
Now, fast forward to today, where I have my own LLC and for multiple reasons, and I don't subscribe to either Democrat or Republican because they're both crooked in general. They got their own agenda. It is what it is. Doesn't really fit the narrative based off what I've been talking about. Biden didn't say shit. Trump didn't say shit. It was literally whatever. Let's get to the next one.
Lesser of two evils.
They both were trash. Like, again, Biden's still giving my student loan. Where my student loan shit at Biden?
Salt Republicans in the Congress, but okay.
We're working on it. But point is, like, we're seeing, go back to the main question of who do you think is, like, news-wise, CNN, Fox News, whatever. To be honest, neither one of them are talking about what the actual problem is in America, and it's dead silly how the UN, yuan is trying to be the new dollar and everything like that. Nobody's talking about that shit. Everybody's talking about
Well, they can talk about it depending on what you're watching.
Well, I mean, again,
Watching Bloomberg.
No.
On Bloomberg, they show it for sure.
Okay.
That's what we talk about the money
the
on
main-
Bloomberg.
But how many out of like 10 people that you talk to, how
Not
many
enough.
watch Bloomberg?
2.
You watch CNN or Fox, right?
No, CBS, whatever CBS, ABC, and
Local.
Yeah, then,
They
okay,
watch the
yeah,
local
yeah.
news,
But
right?
even then, so then that's just theory. Again, I don't subscribe to it, but it makes sense. The reason why they're trying to get rid of TikTok is because it's pretty much unfiltered news,
it is.
and it's just straight to your face.
You learn all the hacks on TikTok.
Literally everything
All the hacks
that's
on
going
TikTok.
on in the world, especially depending on your algorithm and everything.
Sure.
I found out about the debt ceiling about to go to shit.
Well, that's
That's a whole
fanaticism.
other thing. But guess
Right.
what? I found out about it on TikTok.
Look, I've been listening to it for the past 15 years, so.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's like, but I mean, my generation, and even your guys' generation, whatever. But it's just like that is more of unfiltered information that's just straight to your point. Now, I will always say, don't trust anything on TikTok. Check your facts. Check your facts. But most of the time, when I do check my facts, it makes sense.
Right.
And that's why they're trying to get rid of TikTok because it's like,
Yeah.
we
I think it's
we
more than
can't get rid of the narrative. We can't make our own narrative off
I
that.
think it's more than that. I think that, I mean, if we talk about debt ceiling, it's horseshit anyway. The United States of America is never, under any circumstances, going to default on a debt. It's not going to happen.
It's not looking good.
Listen to the good shit I'm telling you. We can't afford to, right?
We can't afford to print money during COVID, but we did.
We didn't print money, but
Essentially.
what I think that holistically speaking, the United States of America can't default on debt. Because what if we said fuck everybody, we're not gonna pay anybody anymore? What are they gonna do?
We don't know.
Wait, what are they gonna do?
Try and fight us.
And when is the last time anyone's ever attacked us on American soil with an army?
Right.
Has it ever happened?
It's not going to happen.
Bingo.
But it loses the trust of the dollar too. So
Well, it loses the trust of the global economy, absolutely. But how is it possible that America has debt? Think about it. Just take 30,000 view. How is it possible that America has debt?
I could easily answer that.
How?
All right. So our main, before Trump was in office, our main supplier was China, right? And Taiwan.
Uh-huh.
So if we say, just for example, let's say, we want 100,000, whatever, computers,
whatever.
whatever
Uh-huh.
fuck case may be. They say, all right, cool, that costs X amount of money.
Sure.
Just like, and again, America is, somebody made this joke, but it's real, is that America ain't nothing but a big ass ghetto loan. It is like, on the surface level, you got people paying car loans. On the wider
Yep.
national level, all we did was supply a loan to somebody. And what, can I truly speak on it and be intelligent on it? No, I can't, so I'm
Right.
not going to say. But based off the general information I have, each country is always trading something with somebody.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's why I know
what do we
that
trade?
that's what I'm saying. We're not America can't not pay their bills. It's not something that's ever going to happen, right? Because we're not going to stop a federal government from paying employees. We're not going to stop a federal government from paying benefits. We're not going to stop a federal government from
It actually
providing
happened.
national defense.
Because I didn't get paid 20...
And you got paid every single time retroactively.
Retroactively, yes, but for was it 2 months?
For
How
2
long
months.
that thing was?
Right.
I was just showing up for work. It's like, happy to be here.
Yep.
So-
And I can only tell you that there's never been an instance in American history where America did not pay their loans. And for me, it's stupid, right? Because what we're paying for is if you look at how the way our revenue system works up until around 1950, right, when we reduced the taxes for people in the top 1%. Before then, people in the top 1% know they paid for taxes. You know how much?
No.
You know how much? 50% on their income. If you made over X amount of dollars.
It's crazy.
Why is that crazy?
I don't think that's fair.
I think
So
that is.
So
It's definitely not
I
fair.
put it up.
let me help you understand why it's fair and why it makes sense, right? So if we are an American collective, right, and we're not just a country of islands, because we're not, the resources that John Q. Billionaire are the same resources that John Doe broke got to use, right? But who uses more of the resources? John Q. Billionaire because he has more money to, or John Q. Broke, right? So the billionaire is earning money from John Q. Broke and using the same roads, the same bridges, the same tunnels, the same land, the same common defense as John Q. Broke. So it is his responsibility to the community at large to pay more for the welfare and the benefit of the community at large. Now, is he still gonna be wealthy? Absolutely. But is it right that 2 people in America own 50% of the wealth? 50%!
No, I mean,
Does it make sense to you? Can you even fathom that?
No, I mean, it's without question, to certain levels that you get to in this country, you need to know somebody, right? And you need to have a banker that's a buddy, and all of these things, no doubt. I mean, no doubt Trump was able to take out crazy loans after filing bankruptcy
7 times.
7 times. So,
And we know now that he lied to do it. Hence, his company lost in New York.
all right,
So, when you lie, shit gonna come up.
yeah. And that's why y'all should not be hitting snooze when you get up in the morning, because that is not going to help you win the day.
Right.
And that's
That's
what
it.
you got to remember. When you try and win the day, you must have small victories every day. Don't hit snooze. Get up when your alarm clock goes off.
And make your bed.
Yeah, well, you see, everyone's got their whatever works for you.
Yeah.
You know, like, do you make a daily to-do list?
Yes. I actually have a journal. It's called the Higher Productive Journal. And every day, on the left side, it goes to a list of questions. Who do I need to show up for today? My motto for today is, these are the things that must get done. These are the long projects that I get done in the next 6 weeks. Every single day. At the end of the day, did you accomplish your goals for the day?
Yeah.
If not, if I were your manager, how would you view your work?
Right.
So, yeah, man, I have to. Otherwise, I wouldn't get shit done.
Yeah. I mean,
I get stuck in the
definitely
door
have-
left and
I
right.
have my to-do list that I'm making every day, and I usually try and put the most inconvenient things I don't like on it first. Because once that gets out of the way, then everything else is easy. And but man, that was deep. All that other stuff was deep. But honestly, I think if we take anything away from this podcast, it's one, learn to accept some change in your life. It can be for a positive, right? If something's not self-serving you, don't be afraid to walk away from it, because we must do things that are going to help us. They're going to be positive to us. If it's a negative, get rid of it.
That's it.
Because whether it's a relationship, clients if you're a trainer, or coaches if you're a trainee, if the relationship isn't good, if you don't feel like it's something that's bringing you positivity and improvement, let it go.
That's it.
And make sure that daily to-do list, I'm telling you, can be a lifesaver because it keeps you focused. And I'm also a big believer in journaling. I don't know if you guys journal, but I'm a big believer in journaling, because you'd be surprised, just mind dumping at the end of the night, how much better you sleep, because
Yeah.
you have it written down. The to-do list does the same thing. If you're not thinking about, like, I hope I don't forget this tomorrow, and you just write it down, you'll be able to let it go, sleep better, you feel better. When you feel better, you look better, and it goes on and on and on. All positivity every day. That's what we try and preach. That's what we try and do. So thanks for watching another episode of the Big Classic Podcast. And for my co-hosts, Walter, Rashad, peace.
Peace.